In this video, guys, I'm going to share with you the 5 best marketing strategies to drive growth for your contractor business fast. This is really important because you can't be relying on word of mouth or referrals, even if you're not trying to grow your business, because it just leaves you too vulnerable to essentially being at the whims of the market, seasonality, a new competitor, right? You want to be in the driver's seat of your business and you want to have control. In order to do that, you've got to start to build a marketing machine that ultimately will provide you consistency and predictability in your sales pipeline and in your production calendar or schedule. Before you start marketing, quick tips. I want to make sure that if you haven't already been on our channel and heard us talking about the importance of having a competitive advantage, to keep it really simple and straightforward, before you do any marketing, you want to know who's your ideal customer, who are you trying to reach, and how do you serve them better than anybody else? And being able to articulate that really clearly to the market is important. So just think about that in terms of who do we serve? Who do we want to serve? How do we serve them better than anybody else? And from there, you want to have a compelling offer that you're putting in front of your audience, right? Something that's really going to move the needle so that you can get a strong ROI on your marketing campaigns. Because if you're going to invest time, energy, and or money, you want to make sure that it's really going to do the job. Like it's going to actually generate the number of leads, sales, projects that you want, and that it's highly profitable for you. Because ultimately, what you want to do when you build a marketing machine is as it becomes ROI positive, you're getting a solid return on investment, you want to keep reinvesting a percentage of your profits back into the marketing machine so that it can scale up and continue to generate you more and more opportunities, more and more customers, and you can start to grab more of the market share that's available. The other thing that's really important before you start marketing, especially if you're going to start spending money, is you want to have a system in place that ensures that you capture new leads. You're going to be able to keep them organized and be able to ensure that you're able to follow up with them fast and that then they don't just fall through the cracks. So you want to have a solid CRM in place. If you don't already, drop a comment in. We'll chat in terms of what specific business type you have, and then we'll make a recommendation for the top CRM that you want to be looking at. All right, so I just wanted to cover those quick things before we get in the training. Now let's go ahead and dive into it. Now, before I get into the top 5 marketing strategies I recommend to drive growth in your contractor business fast and effectively, I do want to mention some of the basic things that if you aren't doing them yet, don't overlook them. Spend some time making sure that you have these things in place and you're taking advantage of them. One of those things is simply just printing off flyers or brochures or door hangers, for example. And when you're at a customer's house, you're going to the neighbors to either put a leave behind or knock on the door and introduce yourself, right? I was just working on Mrs. Jones's house, wanted to introduce myself. We actually have introduce your special offer that we just talked about having, right? If you've got more time because your schedule's a little emptier, you can do a larger radius, right? Go 2 blocks over in each direction. All right, so that's one option. The other thing is having yard signs, and don't just put them up while you're actively working on that job. You want to ideally have that in your contract where it can be there for 4 weeks, for example, and that's part of the agreement. Okay, so that's a great one. Now, when you have the money, investing in wraps for your vehicles is like a mobile billboard, right? So you want to have that and want to really make it clear, again, before you go and spend money on that. Who are you serving? How do you serve them better than anybody else? And make that really clear. Now, one of the things that people don't often think about is they're capturing photos and videos for their social media, for their own company. But low-hanging fruit, again, is capturing photos and videos and packaging that up so that your customer can have that to post on their social, right? And then they can tag you, give you a shout out, tell people how happy they are with you, and you're gonna get more referrals from that as well. More people calling you up, wanting you to work on their project. All right, so you really don't want to be looking over some of those fundamental things, but now to really pick things up and be able to drive the growth that you need to scale the business to the heights that you want to, you need a marketing machine. And I encourage you to watch the full video, specifically strategies number 1 and then number 4 are really going to help to put your business in the fast lane. All right, so let's get to them. Number 1, and I always recommend this over anything else at this stage, is to have one paid channel to generate leads. If you're doing things organically, if you're focused on SEO, you don't have true control over what's the input, versus the output. So you could look at that from traditional marketing. If you're going to do door hangers, well, how many do we have to print? How many houses do we have to hit with that? What's our conversion rate? What do we get back, right? Similar, because you want to know your numbers and you want to have control. So input versus output. Now, the difference is in leveraging paid advertising on either digital or social is the ability to target so precisely versus, a mass blast of, 5,000 door hangers, which can really be hit or miss. Instead, you want to figure out, how can I target people that are closest to my ideal customer, get my offer in front of them in our brand and our positioning, and you're going to have a much higher conversion rate. All right, so the key here is you want to have one paid channel to generate leads. You want to be patient. All right, so don't just jump in there for 1-2 months. Oh, this didn't work, quit. All right, you have to be able to figure it out or leverage proven campaigns and strategies from those that have figured it out. All right, so you want to make sure you're patient, you put in enough time so that you can essentially crack the code of that marketing channel so that it's working for your business, because it's not always going to be a home run right out of the gate. You've got to stick with it, you've got to be patient, you've got to do your due diligence to pay attention to what's working, not what's not working, before you invest a lot more money into it. And then as you start to gain traction, as you start to dial it in, and you're profitable in those campaigns, you want to then reinvest a percentage of those profits back into that paid channel so that you can acquire more leads, more customers, and more of the market share. And you essentially want to keep doing this until the wheels fall off, until you hit that ceiling and you're just not able to scale it any further. After that point, then add a second channel, right? So that's really the key there. And my recommendations are, you want to be doing advertising on Meta, which is Instagram and Facebook. And don't discount it if you've tried it before. We will also be dropping an episode that takes you through the process of this so you can have winning ad campaigns. The secondary to that would be Google pay-per-click. All right. Number 2 is networking and strategic partnerships. So you want to be doing some research and figuring out where are the opportunities. Other than your chamber of commerce that you often hear about, you want to be looking at builder networks for designers, local associations, right? It really does depend on who you serve, of course, and you want to match up to that. All right. So you could be looking at NARI, for example. You could be looking at the CBUSA, which is a builder association or builder group, right? And really look to get in there, see how you can be active, see how you can contribute ultimately to provide value to your prospective customers and be consistent. So don't just go to one event, 2 events. You want to be at as many as possible. Strategic partnerships on the other side of things is really looking at who are the complementary businesses that overlap to serve our ideal customers, where we can cross-promote, where we can refer to one another. And you want to think about exclusive programs that you can put together for those strategic partners, that where they can pass on unique benefits and discounts to their end customer, making them look good, and ultimately make it win-win. Now, the third best marketing strategy that I have for you is to really focus on ranking in the top 3 positions for organic Google search, as well as what's called the local 3-pack for your Google My Business listing. That's a whole other separate training, okay, because you got to get quite technical on how to do that. But the first things that I'll mention is you want to be looking at capturing as many reviews as possible. Every single customer that you serve where they've had a positive experience, you want to get a review on your Google My Business profile. All right, so that's one. And then you want to really either do the research, and you can find a lot of great stuff on YouTube. We'll be posting some stuff here soon on how to optimize both your Google My Business profile to get in that local 3-pack, because that's where the lion's share of the traffic goes, as well as getting your business website into the top 3 in organic search as well. Because again, the majority of traffic is going to click on one of those 3, obviously starting with the top, they get the most, and then it goes down from there. So that's really what you want to strive for. Okay, now the 4th best marketing strategy to drive growth for your contractor business fast is social media advertising. All right, we mentioned it at the top for lead generation, but here's the overlooked opportunity, is that social media really represents TV advertising on steroids at a far, far, far cheaper cost. Actually, Meta, Facebook, and Instagram offer the lowest cost per impression. So what does it cost to get in front of somebody? Lower than any other digital channel out there. Years ago, before social media, you would have to run ads on TV and radio and not really be able to pinpoint your exact audience. Now you can. And the big opportunity is to leverage video and essentially hyper-saturate your local market. So if you serve a 25 or 50 mile radius, you can, with the targeting of these platforms, get your video ads out to your exact ideal customer and be able to show up in front of them. You can actually select it 2-3 times a week. Right? So you're always in front of them. You're building brand awareness, brand recognition. And ultimately, when you really saturate a market, you can dominate it so that when somebody's thinking about flooring, they're thinking about a countertop company, heating, plumbing, etc. When they think about the need they have or the project they want to work on, you want them to think of you first. You want to be synonymous with that. That's the big opportunity that so many overlook, is they're consistently generally looking at either, hey, we're going to post on social. We hear that we've got to post, to our profiles every day. And with organic, you get very limited reach. But when you pay to play, that's where you can really unlock the leverage there and essentially capture the lion's share of the market. Last but not least, number 5 in the best marketing strategies to be able to drive growth for your contractor business is cold email. Now, if you haven't already, I posted a full-length 1-hour training end-to-end of how to use cold email to land 7-figure commercial and large residential projects for your business. So don't sleep on that. I'll link it up here and I encourage you to go and have a watch. But essentially, cold email is what we've found to be the fastest and most effective channel to land opportunities with builders, contractors, millwork companies, developers, real estate agents, to essentially get in front of them, get your compelling advantage in front of them, have them raise their hand and build meaningful and profitable relationships with them. Again, full training that I published recently. Go ahead and watch that if you want to see the step-by-step of how to execute that. But I'm really encouraging you that if you serve a B2B market, so not just retail homeowners, don't sleep on this. All right, that's going to be a huge unlock for you. It's more powerful, we've found, than cold calling, knocking on doors. And in that training, I tell you exactly why. All right, guys, that's a wrap. That was the 5 best marketing strategies that we've found to effectively drive growth for contractor businesses. It's the same strategies that our clients have used to 2x and 3x their growth and their revenue in 12 to 18 months. All right, now, if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe so you don't miss out, because we drop a new episode every week where I'm providing strategies, tips, and tactics to help you grow your contractor business more quickly, more easily, but more importantly, to build it for freedom first, where it's designed to work around the lifestyle that you want and that you deserve. Okay, guys, until then, stay driven for growth.